The PRIMEDGE HE2 knife sharpening system is designed to quickly and accurately sharpen hand knives with blades up to 10 inches in length. The PRIMEDGE HE2 combines two machines into one space-saving unit: a hollow grinder to thin the knife blade and an edge honer that will sharpen the edge in a matter of seconds. Hollow grinding and honing edging are done under a flow of coolant to ensure clean, smooth, burr-free edges time after time without scorching or burning. Approved eye and hearing protection must be worn when operating and maintaining all Cozini PRIMEDGE sharpening equipment. Hollow grinding the blade. Use the go, no-go gauge mounted on the HE2 cover to determine if the blade needs to be thinned. The 18,000 slot is used to gauge boning and trimming knives. Heavier bladed knives are gauged in the 22,000 slot. The blade should drop into the appropriate slot to a depth of 1/16 to 1/8 of an inch. The blade should fit into the slot for the entire length of the cutting edge. If the blade is too thick to fit into the gauge, it needs to be hollow ground. Hollow grinding the blade is done under a flow of coolant. Hold the knife handle firmly, keeping the blade in a straight, upright 90-degree position to the center of the wheels to ensure even grinding on each side. Start at the tip of the blade and move the knife forward between the wheels up to the heel of the knife, being careful not to touch the handle against the wheels. Immediately reverse this motion, pulling the knife toward you between the hollow grinder wheels, moving from the heel to the tip. Apply medium pressure as you guide the blade between the wheels in a continuous forward and reverse motion. It is important to keep the knife moving in order to avoid scorching or burning the blade. Hollow grind the blade until it has reached the correct thickness, which you can check by measuring the blade in the go, no-go gauge. Sharpening the final edge on the knife blade. Sharpening the blade is done under a flow of coolant. Sharpen the knife blade edge by passing the blade between the spiral honing wheels, using the same motion that you use to hollow grind the blade. Hold the knife handle firmly, keeping the blade in a straight, upright 90-degree position to the center of the spiral wheels to ensure even grinding on each side. Start at the tip of the blade and move the knife forward between the wheels up to the heel of the knife, being careful not to touch the handle against the wheels. Immediately reverse this motion, pulling the knife toward you between the spiral honing wheels, moving from the heel to the tip. It takes only a few passes back and forth to produce a razor-sharp edge. Filling your HE2 with coolant. Add 1 cup of coolant to 1 3/4 gallons of clean water. The coolant control valves adjust the flow of coolant onto the hollow grinding wheels. Adjust the coolant spray nozzles to direct the flow of coolant onto the hollow grinding and spiral honing wheels. It may be necessary to occasionally add coolant between coolant changes. The HE2 sharpening system controls. The System On button starts the motor that drives the hollow grinding and honing edging wheels. The System Off button stops the motor that drives the hollow grinding and honing edging wheels. The Pump On button starts the flow of coolant. The Pump Off button stops the flow of coolant. The System On button must be depressed in order to start the coolant pump. The coolant control valves adjust the flow of coolant onto the hollow grinding and honing edging wheels. Pushing the emergency stop button stops both the grinding wheels and the coolant pump. To reset the emergency stop switch, twist the top of the button clockwise until it pops up. Turn the hollow grinder hand wheel lock nut counterclockwise to allow the hollow grinder slide assembly to move. Turning the hollow grinder hand wheel clockwise brings the hollow grinder wheels closer together. Turning the hollow grinder hand wheel counterclockwise moves the hollow grinder wheels apart. Turning the hollow grinder hand wheel lock nut clockwise until tight locks the hollow grinder wheels into position. Turn the honer wheel hand crank lock nut counterclockwise to loosen the honer wheel slide assembly. Turning the honer hand wheel clockwise brings the spiral wheels closer together. Turning the honer hand wheel counterclockwise moves the spiral wheels apart. Turn the honer hand wheel lock nut clockwise until tight to prevent the honer wheel slide assembly from moving. Setting the hollow grinder edge angle. Loosen the hollow grinder hand wheel lock nut and turn the hand crank counterclockwise to open the hollow grinder wheels. Place a piece of paper between the hollow grinding wheels. Bring the hollow grinding wheels closer together until there is a slight tension on the paper. Bring the piece of paper up from between the hollow grinding wheels. Tighten the hollow grinder hand wheel lock nut. The hollow grinder edge angle is now set. After hollow grinding a number of hand knives, the wheels will wear and require adjusting. Close the hollow grinder wheels slightly in order to compensate for this wear. With the HE2 turned off, loosen the hollow grinder hand wheel lock nut and turn the hand crank slowly clockwise until the hollow grinder wheels are slightly touching. Then back off slightly. Tighten the hollow grinder hand wheel lock nut, setting the spiral honing wheel edge angle. Loosen the honing wheel hand crank lock nut and turn the hand crank counterclockwise to open the spiral honing wheels. Place a piece of paper between the spiral honing wheels. Bring the spiral honing wheels together until there is a slight tension on the paper. Pull the paper up from between the spiral honing wheels. Turn the honer wheel hand crank clockwise 3 full turns. This will overlap the spiral honing wheels the correct amount to produce a 35-degree cutting angle. Tighten the honer wheel hand crank lock nut. You are now ready to hone knives. Dressing the hollow grinder wheels. The wheels will require dressing when they become out of round. At this time, the wheels will feel rough and bumpy. The wheel dresser is used to true both the hollow grinding and spiral honing wheels. Unlatch the cover. Remove the cover from the HE2. Open the hollow grinder wheels to their fully open position. Both hollow grinder wheels must be the same diameter. Use a ruler to measure the diameter of the wheels. If one wheel is larger than the other, it must be dressed down to match the diameter of the smaller wheel. Reinstall the cover. Attach the dresser assembly to the front of the HE2 by sliding the threaded knob studs through the holes in the front of the HE2. Be sure the dresser assembly bracket is seated evenly. Tighten the dresser knobs. Start by adjusting the dresser diamond height to dress the left hollow grinding wheel. Move the dresser direction lever fully to the left, which will point the dressing diamond toward the left wheel. Adjust the dressing diamond height by using a flat-bladed screwdriver. Turning the screwdriver clockwise will move the dresser diamond closer to the hollow grinder wheels. Turning the screwdriver counterclockwise will back the dresser diamond away from the hollow grinder wheels. The dresser diamond should not be able to be turned by hand. If the dresser diamond is loose, adjust the tension by tightening the set screw in the end of the dresser assembly. Do not over-tighten the set screw. The dresser diamond should be free enough to turn with the screwdriver, but not by hand. The dresser diamond should be adjusted until it lightly touches the left hollow grinder wheel. Next, turn the dresser direction lever fully to the right and check that the diamond dresser is slightly touching the grinding wheel. If the diamond is not touching the hollow grinding wheel, loosen the hollow grinder hand wheel lock nut and use the hollow grinder hand wheel to adjust the position of the right hollow grinder wheel. The dressing diamond should lightly touch the right hollow grinder wheel. Tighten the hand wheel lock nut. Dressing the stones must always be done under a flow of coolant. Start with the diamond dresser retracted toward the front of the machine. Move the dresser direction lever fully to the left and hold it firmly in place while dressing the wheel. Slowly turn the dresser hand wheel counterclockwise to send the dressing diamond across the hollow grinding wheel. Continue until the entire width of the grinder wheel has been dressed. Now turn the dresser assembly hand wheel clockwise to bring the dressing diamond back across the grinder wheel to the front of the machine. Turn the dresser assembly direction lever fully to the right to dress the right grinder wheel. Repeat the procedure to dress the right hollow grinder wheel, dressing from the front to the back, then back to front. If another dressing pass is needed, adjust the diamond assembly 1/20th of a turn clockwise and repeat the dressing procedure, dressing the spiral honing wheels. The spiral honing wheel dressing procedure is the same as the hollow grinder wheel dressing procedure, except you must start with the right spiral wheel. Both spiral honer wheels must be the same diameter. If one wheel is larger than the other, it must be dressed down to match the diameter of the smaller wheel. Open the spiral honer wheels to their fully open positions. Attach the dresser assembly to the front of the HE2 by sliding the threaded knob studs through the holes in the front of the HE2. Turn the dresser wheel direction lever to the right and adjust the dresser diamond until it lightly touches the right spiral wheel. Now, turn the dresser diamond direction lever to the left and check that the dresser diamond is lightly touching the left spiral wheel. If the diamond is not lightly touching the left spiral wheel, loosen the spiral wheel adjuster lock nut and turn the spiral wheel hand crank to adjust the spiral wheel until it is lightly touching the dresser diamond. Tighten the spiral wheel hand crank lock nut. Dressing the stones must always be done under a flow of coolant. Dress the right spiral wheel, then the left. Dress from front to back, then back to front. After dressing the spiral honing wheels, check the diameter of the guard discs. The guard disc should be about 1/16 of an inch smaller than the spiral wheels to allow for clearance for sharpening the heel portion of the blade. If needed, dress the guard disc down with the dresser diamond, being careful not to touch the wheel or damage the spiral threads. You can now remove the dresser assembly. The hollow grinder and spiral honer wheels are now dressed. Changing the hollow grinder wheels. When the hollow grinder wheels have worn down to 2 7/8 of an inch in diameter, they must be replaced. Unlatch the cover. Remove the cover from the HE2. Start by loosening the lock nut and turning the hollow grinder hand wheel counterclockwise to bring the hollow grinder wheels to their fully open position. Remove the retaining bolt and retaining flange from the wheel. Then remove the hollow grinding wheel and blotter. The left and right hollow grinding wheels are the same. Always replace the hollow grinder wheels as a set. Never use a cracked or damaged hollow grinder wheel. The order of parts for the hollow grinding wheel is 1. Paper blotter. 2. The hollow grinder wheel. 3. The hollow grinder wheel has a paper blotter already attached. And finally, the retaining flange and retaining bolt. Clean both shafts and hubs and apply anti-seize lubricant to the hub and the inside of the hollow grinder wheels. Ensure that the pin on the wheel collar is aligned with the hole on the hollow grinding wheel. Finally, install the retaining flange and bolt. Tighten the retaining bolt. Repeat these steps for the other hollow grinding wheel. After the new hollow grinder wheels are installed, you must follow the steps to set the hollow grinding edge angle. Replacing the spiral honing wheels. When the spiral honing wheels have worn down to 2 7/8 of an inch in diameter, they must be replaced. Begin with the spiral honing wheels in their fully open position. Start with the left spiral honing wheel. Remove the retaining bolt and retaining flange from the spiral wheel. Then remove the spiral wheel and blotters. Remove and set aside the spacer. This spacer will be reused. Then remove the spiral wheel and blotters. Always replace the spiral honing wheels as a set. Never use the cracked or damaged spiral honing wheel. The spiral honing wheels are marked right and left. These marks will face toward the operator when standing in front of the HE2. Replacing the left spiral honing wheel. Follow the order of installation for the left spiral wheel. 1. A paper blotter. 2. The spiral wheel. 3. 2 more paper blotters. 4. The guard disc. 5. Another paper blotter. And finally, the retaining flange and retaining bolt. Clean the shaft and the hub and apply anti-seize lubricant to the hub and the inside of the spiral honing wheel. Be sure to align the pin in the hub with the hole in the spiral honing wheel. Place a paper blotter against the rear flange and slide the spiral wheel onto the hub. Following the order of installation, install the paper blotters, guard disc, retaining flange, and retaining bolt. Tighten the retaining bolt, replacing the right spiral honing wheel. The order of installation for the right spiral wheel is 1. A paper blotter. 2. The right spiral wheel. 3. 4 more paper blotters. 4. The spacer. 5. 2 more paper blotters. 6. The guard disc. 7. 1 more paper blotter. And finally, the retaining flange and retaining bolt. Clean the shaft and the hub and apply anti-seize lubricant to the hub and the inside of the spiral wheel. Be sure to align the pin on the hub with the hole in the spiral wheel and slide the spiral wheel against the hub. Following the order of installation, install the paper blotters, spacer disc, guard disc, retaining flange, and retaining bolt. But do not tighten the retaining bolt yet. Timing the spiral edge honer wheels. Check the alignment of the spiral wheel threads. Turn the spiral wheel hand crank clockwise slowly to bring the spiral wheels together. When the spiral honing wheels meet, check the timing of the spiral wheel threads. The threads should interlace without touching. There should be equal space on both sides of each spiral thread. If the spiral wheel threads are not timed correctly, loosen the set screw in the right spiral wheel collar. Rotate the right spiral honing wheel until the threads of both wheels are timed correctly. There must be equal clearance on both sides of each thread so that they do not touch when meshed together or overlapped. Tighten the right spiral honing wheel collar set screw, and then tighten the right spiral wheel retaining bolt securely. Slowly turn the wheel by hand to make sure the spiral wheels are timed correctly and do not touch each other. You must now follow the procedure for setting the edge angle of the spiral honing wheels. HE2 belt routing. Special care must be taken when installing belts in order to prevent damage to the wheels of the HE2. When the HE2 is running, the hollow grinder wheels should each turn in the same direction, and the spiral honing wheels should turn in opposite directions as noted in the diagram. Make special note of the belt routing or direction of the twist in each belt. Follow this diagram or refer to the printed manual for proper belt routing. Install each new belt with the twist in the correct direction. Check the tension on the timing and motor belts by squeezing them midway between the pulleys. The belts should be taut and without slack. Changing the timing and motor belts. Check the belts for signs of wear and cracking. Worn or damaged belts should be replaced to prevent damaging the spiral honing wheels. Open the hollow grinder and spiral honing wheels to their fully open positions. Using a 9/16 wrench, Loosen and remove the bolts that secure the pillow blocks in place. Remove all metal spacers upon which the pillow blocks rest. Remove the timing belts from the upper pulleys and slide the belts over and off the drive roller and lower pulleys. The motor belt is removed using the same procedure. The belt should be changed as a set. Place the belts on the drive roller, then route each belt over their pulley, being sure to follow the correct belt routing. Incorrect belt routing will result in damage to the grinding wheels. To maintain proper timing belt tension, add or remove shims from the pillow blocks. Adding more shims will decrease tension, while fewer shims will increase the tension. If proper tension cannot be achieved, the timing belts are stretched and should be replaced. When the pillow blocks have been correctly shimmed, tighten the 4 pillow block bolts. To maintain proper motor belt tension, loosen all 4 of the pillow block bolts. Pull the drive roller assembly toward the back of the HE2 until the desired tension is achieved. Then tighten all 4 pillow block bolts. If the proper tension cannot be applied to the motor belt is stretched and will need to be replaced. Replace the cover on the HE2 and secure the latches. HE2 maintenance. Daily maintenance. Clean the outside of the HE2. Clean the inside of the HE2, paying special attention to the area around the grinding and honing wheels. Check the position of the coolant pipes. Weekly maintenance. Replace the coolant. Clean all areas under the cover. Check all belts for condition and proper tension. Maintenance to be performed as needed. Apply grease to the fittings on the pillow blocks and bearing housings.